Story when it comes to building a business. To some, it's never an easy task to partake, and to some, they have very good stories of how they started from scratch and built their empires to profitability. And that's the reason why Bizna Kenya and MC Moments have partnered to bring you Biz Talks. Biz Talks. And here we shall be hosting mentors, people who have gone ahead of us, people who have created these empires, people who have also on the verge of creating these particular big businesses. And these lessons will be valuable for you, the business person, for you, the aspiring business person, the entrepreneur, so that at least you can make wise decisions when it comes to building that business. So every Friday at 8 a.m. on all business platforms, that's the Facebook and YouTube channel, and of course MC Mo. Good morning and welcome to Biz Talks, and I hope you're keeping well from wherever you are, keeping warm as well. We are all sporty here today, and we're going to be talking matters sports science and its economic value in this country. And to me, this is probably a subject we need to embrace more and look at it more keenly, because we never know what it can do to the economy of this country. Could it be that maybe we have sidelined it big time and we need to really look at it as a way of developing talent and embracing other means of, economic income for many other youths in this country, and not just youths, almost everybody. So with me today is a guest that, wow, my goodness, I actually had a chance to visit and see what he was doing in their academy. He's going to be telling us more on that, but first, just to welcome him, Karibu sana, Dr. Boyd.
Thank you so much.
Great to see you, man, looking all sporty, healthy and all that.
Yes. Thank
you. We need to have some sessions of mentorship, eh?
Yes, for sure.
First of all, welcome to the set. Yes. We, courtesy of Melvin's Tea, we have a lot of variety, as you can see,
Okay.
And so I want you to make a choice. I know you peeped. I don't know what you chose to have. Yeah. Did you make a choice?
I'll take the green tea.
Green tea, eh?
Yes, because of it.
So we have varieties of them. Is this the one with mint, or is it just plain?
This is just the mint. This is the mint one.
That's with the mint.
Yeah.
If you're going to have that, because I want to emulate you, I'm going to have the same as well. So
thank you.
Do you want it with some hot water, or do you want it with some milk, or what would you like?
With some milk, please.
With some milk, please, eh?
Yes.
Okay, great. So if you could flip the cup for me.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm just making a guess. Huh? I know you came with your son.
Yeah.
He came with his son.
Yeah.
Did you come running?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
We did a 20K run from home to here.
Are you for real though? You're not joking. You're kidding.
We drove, of course.
Well, I can tell you this though.
Yeah.
This is how I dress up when I'm going for my run.
Okay.
I just hope I have I've dressed well.
Yes,
now, since you're the guru, man.
Yes, you've done well.
You'll tell me all that.
Yes.
So yeah, good to have you, man, and on the show, and
yes.
I hope you're keeping warm as well, man, because this is the Nairobi winter that we have here.
Yeah.
All right, so if you're watching us, we are talking about sports science here, and I know maybe you're asking, what's the business part of that? We're going to learn as well. I'm also seated on the learning seat, and I'm hoping to learn as well. So let's do as we always do, click on that share button, let everybody else know that it's time to get to hear, who is this person who would even get a PhD in sports science? What are they up to? That is an interest that I'm also looking forward to get. So welcome, Boyd, again.
Thank you so much.
And let me start from this. When people ask you the question, who is Dr. Boyd?
Yeah.
What do you say?
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
It depends. So most cases, I tell them I'm someone who's passionate about sports, passionate about health.
Yeah.
And that's how I eventually ended in this space of sports science and sports medicine.
Yeah.
So it's something I'm quite passionate about. I'm one of the few people who actually, my hobby, my job, and my passion are all in one. Because my hobby is, I like swimming, I like going to the gym, I like playing sports.
Yeah.
My job is in sports science, sports medicine.
Uh-huh.
And my passion is again in this, so I'm able to combine all the three in one.
Okay.
So I'm one of the lucky people. I don't wake up to go to a job. Actually, I'm excited to wake up every day.
No, that's really cool.
Yeah.
So would you say then that maybe your upbringing and the exposures to sort of sports are the ones that inclined you to that?
Yes. So my parents and the school I went to, they were quite keen on sports.
Yeah.
Of course, by the time I was supposed to actually do engineering.
Yeah.
But funny enough, when I emailed my parents last minute and told them I don't feel like doing engineering anymore because I feel like I'll be stuck for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
I had to write them an essay explaining to them what this hobby is and how I'll make money out of it. So I actually wrote them a script explaining to them this is what my plans are. I don't feel like doing engineering. I plan on doing sports science and sports medicine, and these are the avenues I look at in getting revenue.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, that's the story of many people, you know, parents sometimes, and I think we have grown up in those kind of directions where we say, there used to be engineering, I don't know, pilot, doctor, I don't know what else, you know?
Yeah.
Those were like the careers then.
Exactly.
So you tell somebody you want to be a sports person, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you had to do an essay. I would love to see that essay.
Yeah. I hope I still have it somewhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's talk about sports science. Okay. First of all, I can get the sport, when I separate the words, I can get the sport part of it.
Yeah.
I can get the science part of it from my, you know, those science days.
Yeah.
But now we're talking about a whole one combined thing about sports science.
Yeah.
Feels like a new phenomenon. What is it all about? Just, you know, explain to us in a one-on-one, what is it all about, sports science? Yes.
Okay, maybe I'll break it down initially. So science basically looks at using research and evidence-based methodology to apply in your practice.
Okay.
And using a systematic approach while doing something.
Okay.
Of course, that's not the Wikipedia version.
Yes.
But that's what I feel science is. So what sports science is, I don't want to go into the nitty-gritties because it has its own branches.
Yes.
It's just basically applying scientific principles, research, evidence-based principles in sports.
Okay.
No guessing, no doing whatever you want.
Yeah.
This is how it is. These are the theoretical models, or these are some of the research-backed models.
Okay.
And this is how we apply it in sports.
Okay.
So because the outcomes have already been proven, so now you're just applying that aspect.
Okay.
Because in medicine they do it, in business they do it. They use scientific.
There's a lot of science.
There's a lot of science around it. So why
right.
not sports? Sport is just not running around anymore.
So let me ask you, because I've seen this and also saw it in your field. You'll be telling us more.
Yeah.
So we are talking about some data-driven sort of decisions when it comes to sports.
Yes.
And is it across all? I see that being used a lot with athletes. Is it just across all manner of sports? Does it apply? Yes.
So basically, it's a data-driven and objective approach.
Okay.
While looking at sports. So you can use both numerical data, where you collect statistics, like I'm sure you've seen possession on football, you've seen distance covered, you've seen tackles made, passes made, you know, those kind of scientific aspects can be applied actually across the board to all sports. But I want to actually make something clear today. Sports science is not only about just looking at the numbers and the technology and the data. It's applying a scientific principle or scientific and systematic approach to everything you do. So even as a coach, even though you're on the sideline, even minus the data, minus some of these aspects, are you following a systematic, are you following a scientific approach with your athletes? And then finally now the data-driven plus the technological aspects puts everything together and creates now a holistic view of an athlete.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, I'm getting to learn. By the way, please click on that share button. We want to learn everybody else. I need to give a shout out to some of the people who are watching before, I ask you some very heavy terminology here. Kinesiology. How do you pronounce that?
Kinesiology.
Kinesiology. You will tell me what that is. Okay. In a moment. So Pauline, thanks a lot for watching. SK Beliat Hossein, thanks so much for watching. Geoffrey Alemba as well. Jeff Omoindit. Let me where you're watching us from so that at least I can, give a shout out as well. We are learning matters sports science and its economic value to us. So we talked about the big term, kinesiology. What's that, by the way?
So just basically means human movement. Anything with regards to human movement, that's what kinesiology is.
It's kinetic movement there.
Exactly. Yes. When you break it down, basically it's about human movement and how it can be applied in sports and how it can be applied in health. So basically you're looking at both sectors of health and sports. Yeah.
So of course my question now behind that big term kinesiology is, what's your key driving force to becoming a kinesiology expert and, what has been your experience now?
Okay, so I'll take it back a few years. When I was in high school, I was actually in the national junior swimming team. So swimming was my passion. Actually, even I ended up going to South Africa to train for swimming. I've been to the States. I've actually traveled the world a bit. So that I found so much passion and so much love from just sports.
Yeah.
So that's where it actually started. And also I used to do a lot of other sports. So sports has been my life since I was a child.
Yeah.
So that I ended up now eventually going into studying sports.
Okay.
And the reason actually, the driving force was because we underwent a lot of heartbreak as Kenya national swimming members.
So you're also part of the big team?
Yes, I used to be in the national team from 2007 to 2011.
Hey, we missed that part. That's good, man.
Yes, yes. Even I won 2 bronze medals in the All African Games.
Yeah.
I've gone to World Championships. I've gone for various meets across the world also.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so I wanted to sort of see how I can help the athletes.
I felt like I should have clapped at that point, you know.
Thank you.
Oh, go ahead, yeah.
Yeah, so I really wanted to see if I can make an impact in the sports setting currently, because a lot of our athletes are still going through the same thing. I'm sure you saw what happened with Yego. Dropping out. Exactly. Yeah. So it's the same thing that's recurrent.
Yeah.
So some of us professionals who have actually studied sports and actually looked at this as our profession, our career, our lives, and we were actually athletes and we underwent that same kind of subject. We were subjected to some of those. I wanted to make a difference.
Yeah.
And that's actually why I came. I decided to do this.
And I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
We shall be talking about the label on your jersey, Next Gen, in a moment. So let me keep talking about this new, I'm calling it new phenomenon of this scientist world. So how many sports scientists are there like in the country?
Yeah.
And is there a market for this kind of profession?
So you would be surprised at the number of sports scientists out there. So another thing you don't know about me, I'm actually a lecturer at the university.
Oh.
Yeah.
We needed to get this whole program, but go ahead. Where are you lecturing?
I'm at Kenyatta University.
Okay.
In the exercise and sports science department.
Oh.
Yeah, so I lecture anatomy, physiology, and biomechanics there.
You know, so I'm a bit envying you a bit because, you know, you're just doing what you need to do to constantly keep yourself fit and all those kind of things.
Exactly.
I mean, this is lovely, you know. Anyway, I'm also doing what I love, but we'll talk about that later.
Exactly.
It's more about the health side of it. We need to look at it. Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting that you also do that. So how many are there? You were talking about, do
so
we have many?
They usually graduate about 40 or 30 of them each year.
Okay.
So looking at over a span of 5 years, plus some who have actually gone abroad to study. We're looking at actually about 500 of us currently. Okay. And you asked me if there's a market for it. Initially, when I studied sports science, I didn't know what to expect. But now I've understood the value of it. It's just that the Kenyan market was not yet ready, and there are a few steps I'm trying to do to make sure it's ready. So I'll give you an example. In the sports field, the market is completely ripe for professionals who have studied sports science. And in the health sector, there's a sector called exercise physiology or even sports medicine, where we look at applying exercise, nutrition, and other aspects to treat chronic diseases and people with heart conditions, people who are sick. So the market is very ripe. Currently, it's growing. And I'm the one who's trying to pave that way for the other people, because it's still a very young field in Kenya. And I've been lucky enough to go abroad and see what happens. So I'm trying to open the market now for the rest of the sports scientists.
Okay. You know, I've just remembered yesterday in the news I watched some young man being featured. He was running, you know, behind some athletes. I don't know if the guys caught up that story. And, you know, somebody said this. I just read comments. It's not mine. Some people say the coach was not encouraging. There's a coach who was interviewed later on. He was not encouraging. I think he should have picked the talent and said, you know, we're doing this.
Exactly.
But anyway, that's another story for another day.
Let's
talk about how science then is used in sports, and why should people really think critically about ensuring there's science in the sport?
Because first and foremost, it takes away the guesswork. So there's objectivity. So if you ask a coach, how did your team do today? If you ask a local coach, how did your team perform today? They'll tell you, walifanya poa sana. Or they did very well. Or push. But now, beyond that, there's not much objectivity. So basically, I'll give you an example. So even currently at our academy, Next Gen, which we'll even speak about later, we collect data. So I'll give you a sample one, since many people know football. So we do tests on passing, shooting, dribbling, how are they, different metrics in terms of technical analysis. So at the end of our data collection, we might actually realize for our 10 to 13 year age group, are struggling with short passes or long passes.
Okay.
So how do we modify our training to make sure we are focusing on the things we are struggling with? Maybe these people are so good at shooting, so why are we always doing shooting in trainings? Maybe we can focus on something a bit more objective. So it just brings that objectivity. And during games, again, you can, if someone asks you, how did this athlete perform? You can be able to know, okay, these are the number of tackles he made. These are the number of passes he made. This was the amount of minutes actual ball play he had. And it's more objective, and you're able to actually make decisions long term. And it pushes you from being that amateur level athlete to now the next level of, look, we know what needs to be done.
So it's actually, it really exposes you well. So you're able to tell, this is what I need to improve on as a person, if I'm the athlete or something. And even for the coach as well, he's able to, you know, use data to tell what the team needs to maybe apply more on and those kind of things. So you also sort of like should have trainings for coaches, do you?
Yes, so education in fact is one of the most important things, is to start that process of educating the current coaches. And some of these things doesn't mean you have to actually go and really study sports science. You can actually, we can start these short courses, and in fact that's another thing we're starting under my company NextGen, is short courses where you teach maybe coaches about video analysis. So how do you do video analysis? How do you collect GPS data? How do you do fitness tests for these athletes? How do you do something called game-based training? So basically there's so many things we can actually do in terms of packaging in. And that's something we're working towards to make it more accessible to the local coaches, because for them maybe they didn't have the opportunities to actually go and study. So now it's how to make it available for the coaches, because some of them actually really willing to learn. I've met a few of them. Even if they've not been exposed, they're like, they really want to learn some of these things. So we need to also make it accessible to them.
Let's get to the government before we now look at the economy in general, how it can go. So has the government already established like policies around it, or are you pushing those directions? How is the status?
So with regards to the government, there is actually zero policy in terms of sport. So I've been involved from the sidelines, because you know sometimes with my qualifications I end up getting sidelined because people get so there are very few policies on talent development, very few policies on talent identification, very few policies on long-term athlete development, very few policies on elite sports performance. So policies, I don't want to speak all ill, they're trying, there's a positive trend. However, it's baby steps, and we will never be able to reach where we need to reach unless we take this to the next level in terms of policy development. So currently I can tell you in terms of policy, it's almost zero. I have tried, I even offered my services for free to Kenya Academy of Sports. I've offered my services for free to the National Olympic Committee. I've offered my services for free until they stop picking my phone calls, because they think I'm there to take their jobs. But the funny thing is I don't want to be an administrator. Mine is very different. I just want to assist in policy development, and the reason I'm doing it for free is because I have my lecturing job. I have a good academy running. I have a clinic that I run for injury rehabilitation and some other rehabilitation. So for me, I want to give back. And it has been a bit of a struggle because the administrators feel a bit threatened. And I'm actually no threat to them.
Can I ask you a question? This I had not prepared you for this at all. How many doctors do we have in sports science?
So at KU, we're probably about 4 or 5 of us. Specific for.
I see why you would be a threat if you come to my place.
Exactly. So there are quite a number of them. Even one of them being Professor Boit, who is not my relative, but he is now the pioneer of this field, and he's actually the one who started this in Kenya. He won, I think, a bronze or a gold medal in the Olympics or World Championships back in the day. So he is one of the people who we feel has pioneered this field.
So this is very interesting, and I just wanted to be practical with you. CS Amina is watching. What would you tell her now?
So I would first and foremost tell her that she needs to include competent professionals in some of these organizations, even if it's on a consultation basis or whatever it is. So the first thing is that. Second and most, in fact, this is the most important thing. They need to create policies. Because for this to be sustainable, there needs to be policies that dictate the way in which sport is run, all the way from the 4-year-olds, all the way up to the time they're elite. I'm happy to say that the Education Ministry has tried with the new PE curriculum, and I really, actually, that's one of the biggest things I must commend them on. However, the policies are not yet there. The way in which they select the people within, I normally see some of these committees that are normally formed. I look at the committees and they're not well constituted. The people are not, some of them are not competent, some of them are just there to fill space. So let's treat sports with, if it's the Ministry of Health, it will be constituted by doctors. Now the Ministry of Sports, when it comes to some of this policy development, they need to constitute professionals like us and also not push us away. And I don't want to be a bit confrontational here, but if she's watching also, I had actually gone and seen her some time back and actually pitched a few of these policies to her. I know she's a very busy woman and she's been doing a lot of great work. But a year, 2 years down the line, my proposal has been sidelined. Kenya Academy of Sports gave them a very good proposal on talent identification and talent development, sidelined. Nothing yet. National Olympic Committee, I gave them a policy document on, a brief proposal on how they can develop talent into the Olympics. Sidelined, they don't pick my calls. So I just said, you know what, that's actually comes to why I started this.
Why is that? I love this. You're a solution driver. You know what? You don't pick this, we're going to do it our way and start on. You can catch up with us.
Exactly.
No, I love that. Before I jump into the, next year, now that we have already introduced that, I actually wanted to see, because there's somebody who has sent in, so many of them. These comments, there's all this. Let me just give a shout out, please, to some people.
No problem.
Samuel, interesting topic, absolutely. I told you, Samuel does very nice peanut butter. I think it's very good for athletes,
Yes.
So he was here, he does amazing stuff here.
Nice.
With sesame, I remember that, with sesame for energy, Just giving a shout out to him. Mandy Mutebi, great work, Dr. Boyd, watching from Nairobi. Asante sana. Wangari, good morning. Mine and Dr. Boyd looking sporty. Yeah, we are looking sporty, no jokes. We want to know what is hindering the perfect execution or incorporation of sports science in the country's sports sector. Oh, questions already coming in.
I'd love to answer that.
You'd love to answer that? Please do. What's hindering then?
Again, at the administrative level, a lot of the administrators have blocked a lot of the development in sports because they feel it's a threat. Anything new that comes into an institution is seen as a threat. However, they forget that this is a completely new subsector that can be added on to whatever they're currently doing. I was happy, as I said, I don't want to always speak ill. Sometimes it's good to speak positively. Like the National Olympic Committee for the first time was able to have a sports scientist on their team, which is phenomenal.
Absolutely.
But honestly, we are seen as a threat to the people who are currently in sports, because they feel that we are there to take their jobs. But no, we are there to add a layering to it.
We are not a threat, is it?
Exactly.
All right. Somebody else is asking this question. Great stuff, Dr. Edwin Kipboet. Yeah, people already can
at least they can get my name.
That's Eli Tyra. Thanks a lot for watching. Samuel is saying this. Some guy over my peanut guy. I would like to partner with him on the nutrition part with my peanut butter varieties. Can I get his contacts, please? Yeah, we'll talk later on.
I'll send you my contacts.
He's open for all those kind of things. I can tell he's an amazing guy for this. Melostella tuned in. Thank you so much. Emmanuel Brown. Actually, Mwalimu, you are a threat. Hey. That's maybe a student. And then there's Nick Mwangi. Good show. We are learning. Absolutely.
Perfect.
Now, I want to play a video, the next gen video, so that guys can be able to see and get to know what this, what next gen is all about. I know I have watched that video. Maybe I was part and parcel of it somehow. Let's see it. I want you to look at it, and then we get into the questions on next gen. Let's go ahead. All right, there you have it. An amazing concept here. I'm seeing kids really, doing amazing stuff there. Some amazing coaches there.
Yes.
Good stuff. I don't know. So let us know. Tell us about the Next Gen Academy.
Okay, so I'll start again, a step back in terms of why I started Next Gen.
Yeah.
So I used to work with the Kenya Rugby Union.
Yeah.
I used to do statistics and analysis for them.
Yeah.
So actually I went 6 months without being paid. I went 12 months, and currently the debt is up to plus $1 million that they owe me. So
that's good money, man.
I know. So I tried with the Kenya Rugby Union. I tried with various organizations. I tried with the National Olympic Committee. I tried with the Kenya Academy of Sports. I said, I've learned all these things. So how do I give back, and how do I make a change?
Yeah.
But every door shut in my face. So that's why I decided, let me do this. Let me go completely private.
Yeah.
Let me start my own company. Let me do it right.
Yeah.
And the only way I can do it right is by starting off with the kids.
Absolutely.
Because talent starts with
from
the
the
4-year-olds, the 5-year-old kids.
You're right.
So that's how I actually started Next Gen Multi-Sport Academy.
Yeah.
And I'll give you the 4 pillars of basically what Next Gen is.
Yeah.
First of all, it's a multi-sport academy, which is not unlike others in Kenya, where it's maybe football, it's maybe basketball, it's only swimming only. And I'll explain to you the concept.
Okay.
So we have football, basketball, rugby, swimming, athletics, and tennis.
Yeah.
And the reason we started it was because I'd done some research over time when I was doing my master's, still doing my PhD research. I was just looking at how do we develop talent. And I came across very interesting models that they're using, like in the States, in Australia and New Zealand. It's called the Long-Term Athlete Development Program. And this one looks at exposing kids to a variety of sports when they're young.
Okay.
Because like if you're 4 years and you're put in football, how do you know that's where your talent lies?
Yeah, how do I know?
Exactly.
In fact, we will have a personal talk because, man, my legs, man, they won't do it. But
you kick the ball that side.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you know about the 10,000 hour rule?
Yeah, I've heard about it. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Like you practice something like 10,000 times, you'll be super in it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So there's a slight flaw to that 10,000 hour rule. There's something called, there's plus or minus 5,000. So what does that mean? So we can be the two of us here.
Yes.
So let's say we are doing, let me give a sport for example, maybe football.
Yeah.
We have the same coaches, we have the same nutrition, we have the same everything. It might take me 5,000 hours to become an expert.
Yeah.
It might take you 10,000 hours to become an expert. And it might take someone else who might never ever become an expert, even though they train day in, day out. So I'm not saying hard work doesn't pay. Hard work pays. But basically being able to put these people in a multi-sport environment when they're young allows them to be placed or into the sports that they show the most promise in.
Yeah.
So instead of having to work very hard with them, by the time you're placing them in this sport, it's easier for them to grasp a lot of these concepts.
Okay.
So talent development becomes a lot easier.
Yeah.
So us, like at our academy, we collect a lot of data. So every quarter we collect data on physical performance.
Yeah.
We collect data on technical performance. And by the time they're 10 years, we normally provide this data to their parents or to their guardians to tell them, look, we believe these kids should be in sport X or Y.
Yeah.
So that's the first pillar, multi-sport. Second pillar is scientific. I have drafted a curriculum that is based on age and development.
Oh.
Yeah, so it's the same way in school there's a curriculum. My academy also has a curriculum where we look at implementing specific things at different times when they're developing, age specific. And it's research based, some of it. Some of it is based on anecdotal evidence, which is still scientific. So we're looking at that. The third thing is character development. You know, sports can build character. So that's another thing we're really focusing on, is on building a lot of character for the kids. And finally, it's a holistic program. So we look at building a child as a whole. So even sometimes when they come in the first month, the first term after when school's starting, we normally have a value system. So we'll tell them the importance of school. So you see, it's teaching them to be people also. People first, then sportsmen second.
Wow. Goodness, I love it. I love it. I have so many questions I could ask, but at least I saw it practically and you dealing with these kids. But this question can't exit my head. Is sports genetic in some in some way? I'm just wondering because some guys, let me give myself as an example.
Yeah.
In my primary school,
yeah,
the only sport that we played a lot there was just football.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, you know, I had to take the goalkeeper side because, you know, if I
Yeah.
get in the field, man,
exactly.
is it genetic, you know, or it can be learned, as you said?
So, in fact, that's the biggest thing I'm grasping with currently. And in fact, I'm doing a lot of research in that area of talent development.
Yeah.
Because so that's the question. Are athletes made, or are they born or are they made?
Are they made, yeah.
That's the question. And I'm telling you it's 50-50.
Uh-huh.
First and foremost,
Yeah.
we have specific genetic characteristics
Yeah.
that make us prone or better
Yeah.
in specific sports.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a genetic component.
Yeah.
And then secondly, yes, you can actually be able to transform someone
Yeah.
to become a specific athlete.
Yeah.
However, there's a balance.
Yeah.
The more physically demanding the sport is, athletics, swimming, the more genetic predisposed you are to that. The more technical it is,
Yeah.
the more it depends
On your
intellectual capacity, your processing of your brain. And that is also genetic, you know that.
Yeah.
So the way in which you process information is also genetic.
Okay.
So it depends. It varies from the two.
Yeah.
And that's now how you can marry the two together and come up with a holistic athlete.
Let me ask you, because it might help me
Yeah.
and help somebody else.
Yes.
Just one sport,
Yeah.
one that is more physical intensive, that's what
Yeah.
you said,
Yes.
and one that is more on the mind.
Yeah.
So like which one, give me an example of one sport that is more mind-based?
Tennis, maybe.
Or tennis, eh?
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. So
Yeah.
tennis is not all about just
It's not
jumping
all
up
about
and-
jumping and running. It's very cognitive.
Of course, the physical one is like athletics. isn't it?
Athletics, yes.
Okay. Eh,
Yeah.
so I feel like I'm more sport in the mind, but we'll talk about that. Okay, and I think, and correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
I think that's what differentiates you from other academies in the country there.
Exactly.
Because it's not just about a place where you just go and we're just doing guesswork.
Exactly.
It's really based on scientific checks on the people that you have and all that.
Exactly.
Lovely. We need to
Yes.
have you
Yeah.
in every county and everywhere here doing all
Exactly.
that. In
That's the
fact,
whole-
county governments should embrace that because they have sports
Exactly.
departments, you know.
Exactly.
Is there any county that have talked to you about this?
Okay,
or-
so I'll give you an example. So when it comes to the government, I've tried all I can in terms
Yeah.
of helping.
Yeah.
I've decided, let me go private. Let me see how I can impact.
Okay.
I can impact children. Let me see how I can impact the country
Yeah.
from a private perspective. Like currently, we even have scholarship. My academy is made up of almost 40% scholarship kids
Yeah.
who we got from the neighboring surrounding area.
Yeah.
So how do we make, so you know, you can make a change from inside out.
Absolutely.
But how do we make a change from outside in?
Okay.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
All righty.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Let's talk about your future, you
Yeah.
know, the Next Gen Multisports Academy.
Yeah.
What do you envision?
So my vision for it is we're going to eventually become a full high performance center.
Okay.
So by high performance center, I mean we'll have the academy
Yeah.
where kids live or board, train and stay there full time, so they also become full-time athletes. The academics will also be tailor-made to that.
Wow.
So kids will only be going to school 4 to 6 hours. And now even I've been doing a lot of research in terms of pedagogy or education.
Yeah.
And we don't need kids to be learning the whole day. 4 hours is adequate enough for them to cover enough content.
Yeah.
And for the rest of the day, they play sports. And for those who are maybe talently inclined in something else, we maybe have some after-school activities for them, music, etc. Because we know
Yeah.
that also builds the brain, builds
You're right.
creativity.
You're right.
And then we're going to have our professional teams. So we're going to have next gen in football, basketball, rugby, swimming across the board that are going to be competing locally and internationally.
Wow.
And then finally, we're going to have a health and wellness center for the general population.
Yeah.
So people who want to get healthy and fit, people who are sick, people who have undergone heart surgery, have lung disease, have a
Yeah.
place to come and recover and recuperate.
Okay. Let me just throw random things passing through my head
Yeah.
now. Because let's use the example. The rugby team, there's a team, it's about maybe 20, 30 guys,
Yeah.
you know, or there is the racing team that will go
Yes.
to the Olympics.
Yes.
It's about maybe a crew of about 50. But we're talking millions here in the country,
Yes,
all right?
exactly.
My question is this. It's like a two-part question. Do you, from where you sit, believe that if we focus, because that's what you're doing in your academy, if we focus on just developing the talents
Yeah.
of young people,
Yeah.
this can even be their careers? And then, so that's part one of the question.
Yes.
Then part two is it economically viable?
Yeah.
Because, you know, someone may say, you know, how much does, I don't know, what will you make, you know, my football team's in the ground there, you
Yes.
know, guys have to do side hustles, you
Yes,
know?
yes.
That's like the hobby thing and all those kind of things.
Yeah.
is it a viable profession? Do you believe maybe it's the time, or maybe it's in the future, where this can be something that even as parents sitting back, we can be like, my child is going to be a footballer. Yeah.
So the first part, if you look at the athletes in E10, and I'm going to use them as an example, those people have money beyond what you can expect, the ones who have been able to make it.
Go there,
So there's already a test case to show us you can be one of the richest people in Kenya through sports. So it's just that the fact that sports has been mismanaged, so it's not been able to cut across the board. In athletics, it's an individual sport. It's an individual effort. So that's why they're able to thrive, even though the organizers or the organization governing them is not as organized. So the rest of the sports, the more technical the sport, the more we struggle in Kenya. So the other sports have not yet been able to follow. But I'll give you an example. The rugby players, the Kenya 7 rugby players, before, of course, the mismanagement happened, were earning quite a good salary. Salaries that managers would be making in specific organizations.
That's very good.
So there's already a test case for it. Given that it's being mismanaged, now imagine if it's managed properly. Secondly, is it economically viable? The test case is, if you look at the amount of revenue that's generated in terms of GDP in the States, in the UK, the amount of jobs that have just been created purely from sports, it's ridiculous.
It's
the richest people in those countries are sportsmen and musicians.
Yeah, you're right. You hear these NBA fellas.
Exactly.
And, oh goodness.
Exactly. So even in the Division 3 leagues, or even 4, those guys are living still semi-lavish lives. So I don't really need to reinvent the wheel and tell people that it's viable. Economically, we know it can create so many job opportunities for Kenyans. Currently, I know most of my friends or colleagues are becoming unemployed because of COVID and because of the current economic status. People don't know what to do, but sports might be the solution to solve part. Of course, it can't solve all of the problem. Part of the economic crisis.
Alrighty. I love that, because honestly, right now we are talking about unemployment. And I think it's a system as well. The system has put us, let me use my practical example. We were put in a place where it's books and you're doing good if you're number one there, somewhere there. And if you get a D or some E there, it's like you're damned for good. And yet there could be all this other spectrum that we have not explored. But we are now saying with next gen, when you get in there, it will all be explored out, is it?
It will all be explored.
Lovely. You're really solving a big problem that we have. So I'm going to ask you, because now you're in business. The fact that you have the academy, you're in business. Maybe the most fair question would be, how is business? But first, we're still in the pandemic. You know? How are you doing, and how were you affected by this pandemic? Since you just started up, and then the pandemic hits you, how has it been?
So the two questions. The first part is, how is business?
Yes, how is business?
Just like any other business, we're only about a year old. So we are learning as we go. We are getting to know how the sports field is looking like. However, we know something that other people struggle to know in the sports field. It takes time. We don't look at these quick returns, because a lot of people in sports would be, how can I make as much money or exploit these athletes as quickly as possible? So that's why we see all these scandals in sports. You get an athlete, try exploit them as quickly as possible and done. However, we know it takes time. So for us, we're going to build the next generation of athletes in Kenya. And so initially, I know we are going to, the revenue generation will be gradual as we start developing talent, which takes time. We are ready to go for the long haul. And we know in a few years to come, we'll be able to show people, look, all you need to do is focus on talent development, manage the athletes effectively, be ethical, and you'll be able to, the money will come. If I have an athlete going to the Olympics, going for world championships, I'll have money in my pocket until my trousers are falling. Exactly. So focus on the talent development. Second, with the COVID pandemic, it has really affected us, just like any other business. We are not unique. So we have struggled with numbers. The first lockdown, we had about 120 kids, dropped to 60. Second lockdown, parents disappeared, they didn't come back. So it has been a tough journey.
I know, just like any other business.
Just like any other business. But for us, we're focusing on the kids and focusing on the development.
Okay. When I look at your name there, Next Gen, there is
Yes.
a wellness part of it.
Yes.
Because you call it also a wellness center.
Yeah.
Let me get to that a bit because I don't know whether I'm well. You'll tell me later.
Yes.
But so what's that component of the wellness? Because I know sports as well has a component of your health, is it?
Yeah.
But please expand because you're the expert here.
Yes.
Yes.
So, as I explained, the spectrum is the course or whatever we study is called exercise and sports science or exercise and sports medicine.
Yeah.
So there's the sports component and the health component.
Okay.
Sports people make up less than 1% of the population in Kenya.
Absolutely.
However, from what us guys have studied, we can be able to impact the health sector. So I'll give you an example before I go to the clinic we opened.
Yeah.
As an exercise and sports physiologist, you can be able to help people with diabetes, hypertension, osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, all these conditions.
Diseases,
and as much as people think you cannot cure them, I'm not saying you can cure them, you can be able to manage them.
Through sports.
Through physical activity, through structured and a scientific evidence, and even reverse some of these conditions. You might have hypertension, taking 10 medications. After working through a systematic clinical approach in exercise, you can be able to actually bring your blood pressure down. If you've come from a heart attack, you can be able to get your heart function back to normal. If you're obese, you can be able to, so it can be able to, so the NCDs or non-communicable diseases, the pandemic, it's a pandemic. It's even worse than COVID.
Yeah.
So
but that's true because I see even in the US they're struggling with
exactly.
some obese guys and all those kind of things, you know. And now it's no longer there.
Exactly.
Even here.
Exactly.
And I'm not just trying to say something, man. There are so many fast foods that are coming in that I've seen that have affected those countries. And guys, you know, quick fixes, you know.
Exactly. So, like for us on our end, what we have studied can single-handedly eradicate non-communicable diseases.
Wow.
Of course, there's to some extent, because of course some of them are due to secondary conditions. Okay. But we can almost single-handedly eradicate non-communicable diseases through preventative medicine.
So let me ask you, because at Next Gen you told me you started off with kids and all that. So I am 49, assuming.
Yeah.
My goodness, my health is somehow whatever. I'm trying to, but am I allowed to come and consult at a clinic? So
we opened up a clinic called Next Gen Health and Wellness. We have, luckily now we have 2 locations, one in Lavington, one in Parklands.
Yeah.
So basically it's a 360 shop for health.
Yeah.
So we offer all matters health.
Okay.
From injury rehabilitation and physiotherapy,
to
cardiac rehabilitation, to pulmonary rehabilitation, to postnatal and prenatal, so people who are expectant. We have health programs for them. We have chronic disease management, where we try and manage and reverse some health conditions. We have the geriatric population, the older people who can come. We have so mental wellness, because did you know that depression can actually be managed through a structured exercise program?
Hey, that's new.
Because there's something there's some medication that's normally used to treat depression called SSRIs, so serotonin reuptake inhibitors. So basically, what that does, it helps us. So it normally helps managing depression and mood.
Wow.
But exercise has actually been shown to be as effective or even more effective than those medications. So instead of locking up people who are depressed somewhere, get them to exercise in a structured manner, and they will never have to take medication again. And then finally, we are partnering with a company for genetic testing for health. So basically, anyone can come.
So, you know, we talked about the economic value, definitely. I can really see it. Maybe we can paint that picture out.
Yes.
About the economic value of overcoming these chronic diseases, because governments are spending lots of money as well, is it? What do you see? What do you see out of it?
Government insurance companies are going bankrupt because people are too sick.
Wow.
So the number of non-communicable diseases are skyrocketing. People with hypertension, diabetes. And do you know a lot of these people, medication for diabetes or hypertension can cost even up to 10,000 a month.
Absolutely.
And these are people who are struggling to even get by each month. And if you can focus on preventative health, or managing chronic conditions through a physical lifestyle, through healthy nutrition, through specific exercise and sports medicine principles, we can reduce the burden of chronic diseases. So the only people who are going to hospital are people who have, God forbid, been in an accident, people who get malaria or specific communicable diseases, the different COVID, the infections. In fact, doctors should be dealing with those kind of things.
Wow.
Non-communicable diseases should not be there to start with.
And there are families that have gone bankrupt because
people
of
go
things.
bankrupt. I normally see people even going to they normally go to the hospital. They don't even have money to pay for the medication.
Yeah.
And and exercise is free.
Okay.
So that's a two-part one we can look at. But if we can come up with community-based physical activity programs, like in Rwanda and specific other countries, where you're told, guys, exercise today, or those kind of programs that are implemented in the country, telling people take the stairs, walk, create paved roads for cyclists where they don't interact with other people, and you'd solve a complete pandemic.
You guys should be seated advising the budget of this country and all those kind of things. Let me ask though, I don't know, has the Ministry of Health in a way put such or embrace certain programs to enlighten people about, you can avoid these things early enough and stuff? Have you come across such initiatives?
Minimally. So it's something that's actually, so for them it's more about cure rather than prevention.
Yeah.
But yes, there is some interest in that area, and it's good. At least when you see the ministry taking a bit of an interest in that, it's good.
Yeah.
However, as I said, it takes more than that.
Wow.
So again, policies, as we were saying, there needs to be a policy that's developed on preventative medicine or preventative health.
Yeah.
And it's something I'm sure the ministry should be able to start and incorporate specialists who can be able to advise them adequately. Not the usual come up with a committee and you're wondering who this committee is made up of. So even constituting the committee that actually makes decisions needs also to be made a bit more critically.
Wow. Can I just get into some of the comments
here?
Okay,
no problem.
Jew Leonard saying that, good morning, Dr. Boyet and Maina. My child is a beneficiary of your great dream. Keep going.
Thank you.
There's somebody who has been benefiting there.
Yes.
Geoffrey Alemba, it's to expose kids in sports when they're young. How I wish my parents exposed me early. It's never too late, right?
It's never too late. Come, we might have some programs for grown-ups.
Wow. Hi, man, I agree with Dr. Boyet. I tried to work as S&C with 2 rugby clubs, and the coaches saw me as a threat. The athletes loved it. I don't know how much. I don't know how I was chased. I think maybe he's saying you don't know how I was chased. So I don't know. Goodness, we need to learn how to collaborate to make things better, isn't it?
Because I'll give you an example before I read the next comment. There's science on this end, and there's coaches' intuition on this end. I have never said that science beats intuition or coaches' knowledge or coaches' experience.
Absolutely.
What I believe is a combination of science, coaches' intuition and coaches' experience comes together to create something very holistic. So coaches should not see science as a threat. They should see it complementary. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Sorry about the comments. You can continue.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's all right. This is part of it. Mark is in the house. Thanks a lot. That's my good buddy. He's already watching out. Samuel has been touched today. He's saying what? The problem with our institutions and leaders, they don't have new ideas and ways of doing things. They see you as a threat.
Yes, exactly.
I think he's just trying to echo more. So keep them coming and let me know where you're watching us from. Time is actually flying.
Yes.
Let me just see what we can look up. Now, let's talk about your academy and what you're doing. Of course, we've talked about the COVID challenge and all that. Are there any other challenges that you're facing? Just as a business person now?
So currently, the biggest challenge we're facing is with the Sports Act.
Okay.
So the Sports Act, as basically, if you read it, states that private business owners like us cannot own academies, which is completely unconstitutional. So they have stated that they have stated we have to register as clubs. And secondly, we need to have a board of which they have to be managed or have someone from some of the specific FKF, Kenya Swimming Federation, Kenya Tennis. So basically we lose control of our businesses. And I've never had that happen in any other industry where as an individual, you're not allowed to own your own private business. So we have been trying to see how do we register and still be within, because we want to be compliant with the law.
Absolutely.
We never want to be outside the law.
Yeah.
But the law is making it impossible for us to become compliant. So that's been our biggest headache.
Yeah.
Across the board, all academies are having the same problem.
Yeah.
And you're a Kenyan, so you know how the policy development happens.
We need the legislators to get in there and amend it, is it?
Because even the Sports Act, again, who constituted the board of the people who came up with the Sports Act? Again, it was not well constituted, or if not, it was constituted with maybe friends or people who knew each other and wanted a specific agenda.
Yeah.
So leaves us, we can't develop sports. They're saying the only true academy is the Kenya Academy of Sports. So basically they're saying we can't own academies, which is not constitutional.
You're right. So let me ask this. There's another question, quite a loaded one that I'll ask later on. Let's talk still about your academy.
Yeah.
I saw kids there.
Yes.
We have just seen a very nice video.
Yeah.
And I hope we'll even end with that video. What ages do you admit?
So the plan is to admit all under 18s.
Okay.
However, we decided to start with the slightly younger ones.
Yeah.
So we started with the under 13s.
Okay.
Because I wanted to instill specific values and specific characteristics in these children when they're young.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean I've forgotten the 13 and over.
Okay.
It's just that I want to grow with a younger bunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then grow with them slowly as we go.
So this younger bunch, because I'm asking for someone who has
who
has a 2-year-old.
Okay.
Is a 2-year-old allowed to come?
So currently we're doing until 4 years, but we're starting a small daycare sort of fun place where kids can come and be active and play, who are under 4 years. So come September, we'll have a program for the 2-year-olds.
Okay. Are you partnering with schools maybe?
In fact, yes.
If there's someone who's watching maybe and they're wondering, maybe my school may need you.
Yes. So we are partnering with schools. So what the policy is, schools who are struggling with their sporting programs, we are coming to actually revamp your entire sports program.
Yeah.
We work together with whichever coaches you already currently have. Yeah. And also the parents have an option of integrating the academy into the schools. I'm currently in talks with 3 schools. Yeah. And they seem quite keen. So in fact, I would love to do it across the board and eventually try and implement some of this in the public schools.
You're right.
Because I would love to get involved in helping sports across the board in Kenya.
Absolutely. Listen to this loaded question. If we include sports science in our everyday sports, what is the longevity of our athletes to provide income for themselves and boost the economy?
So for those who follow sports, you'd notice our athletes in Kenya, our athletes are getting injured 24/7.
Absolutely.
Sports science actually allows people to have careers longer than you can ever expect. LeBron James, Westbrook, Ronaldo, Messi. These are people who have applied sports science to be part of their lives, and these people are going to play until they're 40 years old. And it will allow someone to have, a long time you're being told you need to read so that by 30, when your career is over, you have something to fall back. Of course, I encourage all my athletes. They have to get maybe a degree or at least study. However, sports science, we normally look at something called load management. So we make sure athletes do not get overloaded. And if they get injured, how do we rehabilitate them effectively? So we can be able to make sure people play until they're 45, some of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
Another question here. What has been your most satisfying moment in your sports science career? Of course, we have had some frustrating moments here and there.
So honestly,
some exciting time. Yes.
Starting Next Gen was the best and most relieving time for me because I have full control.
Yeah.
Prior, when I was working with organizations and institutions, I was really pushed down. My ideas were rubbished and told, go away, people are not picking my phone calls. Now I can wake up today and I decide, look, I'm thinking of implementing this new thing in the academy that sounds great. I don't have to go to anyone. I do it, my kids benefit, the society benefits. So having that autonomy and private, being able to do it myself.
Wow, lovely. Thank you for hosting, Dr. Boyd. Very informative. Thanks a lot. Jeanette Cherotich as well, very informative. Samuel is still talking, he's saying if the laws we have are to encourage investments or discourage them. But there you're right. It's also like, I've had entrepreneurs seated here as well, and some of the bodies that regulate even SMEs in this country, they're sort of a bit coming out as a blockage.
Yeah.
From even the taxes introduced in between a pandemic and all those kind of things.
Yes.
And you wonder, hey, we are barely trying to survive and breathe.
Exactly.
Come on, help us. And
Exactly.
so, for all the legislators who are watching, please, you need to call the people in the sports sector as well.
Yes.
You know, talk to Dr. Boyd.
Yes.
He will point at you
what's
happening in that act and what needs to be amended as well.
Exactly, exactly.
Wow.
So I just wanted to close. I know this is a business show, so what is...
Go ahead, we still have a minute or so.
Yes, so in terms of the economic impact that it will have on Kenya,
absolutely, yes.
What is the way forward?
What's the way forward?
So initially, so I've heard many people talk about public-private partnerships.
Yeah.
Honestly speaking, I was initially for that, but now I'm actually thinking that for us to actually make the hugest impact in sports in Kenya, we need to privatize and professionalize sports, those two things.
Wow.
Privatize and professionalize sports. If you look at the most successful companies in Kenya, most of them are privately owned, privately run, of course regulated by the ministry, which is okay. We are okay being regulated by the ministry and even the Sports Act if they amend. And being able to create true revenue through being, so privatization and professionalization is what needs to be done.
Lovely, and I really hope, because I think there's a desire for a lot of this to happen.
Yes.
Because we have institutions that are just dying.
Yes.
Simply because the government just needs to lose a little bit so that at least they can allow these partnerships to happen.
Exactly.
Wow, let me get to the concluding remarks. Thanks a lot, guys, for all the comments. I may not be able to even read them all, but let me just speak in the last bit of it before we come to the closing.
Okay.
Okay, you've told us about your satisfying moment, and I really wanted to ask about me personally and see whether I can, maybe this will happen on the sidelines.
Yes.
So, but what would be now your parting shot? I mean, you're talking to parents, first of all.
Yes.
And by the way, before we even get there, how do people reach Next Gen? If maybe I have a son, 4-year-old, 5-year-old, I'm like, holiday, what do I do? Whatever.
Exactly.
But is it just on holidays, or are you still ongoing?
We're ongoing through the term. So in fact, what I'll do, I'll give you our official phone number.
Okay.
So quickly, so and now on social media, you can just find us at Next Gen Multi-Sport Academy.
Next Gen Multi-Sport Academy.
Yes.
Okay.
And then our official phone number, which I'll give you guys just now, is you can reach us on...
so actually, by the way,
yes,
you're on Facebook as well?
Yes, on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter,
okay.
Next Gen Multi-Sport Academy.
Okay, so
and
you have the number now?
Yeah, the number is 0758
0758
270
583
And if they want to reach me, they can reach me on 0706 807 219. And that's for the people who actually want to change. If the people who are really interested in changing sports can contact me on that number.
So I'll ask you to say that number again, because maybe somebody just missed a digit.
Yes.
Just say it again.
0706 807 219. Yes, and
excellent. Thanks a lot for that. But now let me get to your parting shot. And for parents,
yes,
of course now they can reach you.
Yes.
Go to the Facebook page.
Yes.
Once they DM you,
Yes.
you'll be able to revert to them. Is it? But from this entire conversation and looking at the economic impact we can have on all this,
yes,
what will be your parting shot? And I don't know who you're addressing. Maybe you're addressing the people who would make decisions here. But go ahead.
So there's a famous saying that Nelson Mandela said. So he said sports has the potential to change the world or the country.
Yeah.
It has the potential to speak the language the youth can understand.
Yeah.
So let's use sports to change our nation.
Yeah.
Let's use it to change both personal health and economic status of the country. And it can be done single-handedly, or not single-handedly, I think I've pushed it a bit. It can be assisted through sports.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And my goodness, how much money will the government save with this? Is
so
it?
much.
I want to give you a gift.
Yes.
Because of courtesy of Melvin's, I don't know, you said you enjoyed what? The mint?
Yes, I like the green tea, the mint.
The green tea mint, right?
It actually has a lot of antioxidants.
Oh, that's why.
Polyphenols. And
you need to tell me these secrets.
Yeah. And then it also suppresses appetite a bit.
Okay.
So it's quite a good. In fact, whenever I normally do a bit of fasting. So when I'm fasting, I normally have actually this brand, the Melvin's green tea.
Okay.
And it helps suppress my appetite during the morning period.
Wow.
Yeah. And it speeds up my metabolism. So it's quite good.
That's lovely.
Thank you.
There you go.
Okay.
So enjoy it.
Yes.
I know you came with your son.
Yes.
He's somewhere at the back, somewhere there. But shout out to him. Let him enjoy that as well.
Thank you
and he was
so
actually
much.
dressed in the Next Gen uni as well.
Yes.
Is it?
Yes.
So when am I getting my jersey? Soon, eh?
Soon. By Monday you'll have it.
By Monday I'll have it, right?
Yes.
Excellent. Thanks a lot for coming.
Thank you.
Dr. Boyd.
Thank you so much.
It's just been an honor to host you here and to really learn that there's a whole economic value if we just really looked inwards through sports and just through getting well.
Exactly.
Yeah, there you have it. And such an amazing conversation with Dr. Boyd. And by the way, I must say you're fairly young.
Yes.
A lot of doctors have some gray hair. Anyway,
yes.
I'm just kidding. Those are my just thoughts.
Yeah.
And so thanks a lot for really tuning in to BizTalks, and we really look forward to keep enlightening you more on just the entire matters business from the sports to everything else. So thanks for tuning in to the #1 online business show. Bye bye for now. Keep working. Bye bye.
Thank you.